Dear student, today we are going to discuss one of the important topics of economic sociology, and that is domestic mode of production. Why we want to do production? Because we want to fulfill our three basic needs: food, cloth and shelter. Everyone wants to fulfill these three basic needs, hence they produce something to fulfill all these physical needs. We can say that this is also known as kinship based production or family based production. All the family members of a particular society cooperate each other and produce something for their own fulfillment. In this method, three important components are there. One is domestic method of production, second is powers of production, and third is relations of production. Besides three important components of domestic mode production, we also discuss about the characteristics or some important features of domestic mode of production, in which one important characteristic is emphasis on community life, that is they have a community feeling, hence community life is their predominant characteristics of domestic mode of production. Similarly, lack of specialization and lack of division of labor is there. They are not produced for selling purpose, they use for their own fulfillment of physical need, hence limited business is there. Similarly, diversified production based on domestic needs rather than market demand. They don't want to sell their product, hence market system is absent totally in domestic mode of production, and importance of reciprocity and gifting is the characteristics of domestic mode of production. When we talk about the domestic mode of production, it means we want to fulfill our three important needs: bread, that is food, shelter and clothings. In order to maintain physical existence, man tries to fulfill his three basic needs, which Karl Marx called the essential material values of life. These are the basic needs, that is food, clothing and shelter. Without getting these, it will be difficult for man to survive and his social life will also be in danger. The efforts made by him during the fulfillment of these needs give rise to the economy. He produces and also uses the things produced, but the work of production is not always done by a single person. Rather, it also requires the cooperation of other people, and the other people are of the family members. The value of the product or labor has to be distributed among the participant in the production. What they produce, they will distribute among the group. All goods are also not produced by one or a few persons. Therefore, he gives the goods produced by him to other people and takes another things in return. That is, reciprocity is there. Then the exchange start. This is known as the reciprocity and system of gift. In this way, production, consumption, exchange and distribution together make the economic life of man functional and give birth to an economy. Mazumdar and Madan says that economy is the regulation and organization of human relations and efforts to meet the maximum needs of day-to-day life with the least effort. This is known as the systematic way of production. In primitive societies, particularly in tribal society, economic activities are mainly done to maintain physical existence. They want to survive, hence they produce something. Hence their economy can be called subsistence economy. Their main problem is sustenance and survival. For this they have to struggle with nature. They do not have clear distinct groups of producers and users like us. There the family is the unit of production and consumption. The family is the basic foundation of the economy. It means what they produce, they will consume, and what they want to consume, they will produce. That is self-dependent unit is known as domestic mode of production. Unlike modern economy, they do not have a planned economy. This is known as domestic mode of production, in which all the family members work together and produce something for their basic needs. The domestic mode of production is a form of economic organization in which the household is the primary unit of production and consumption. The primary unit is known as family. Instead of relying on market mechanism to allocate resources and distribute goods, this mode is characterized by subsistence oriented household that produce what they need for their own use or for exchange with other households. Looking across the culture of the world, it is clear that the domestic mode of production with family working together to grow crop or raise animals for food, clothing and shelters. Even in more complex societies with market and trade networks, domestic production remained in an important complement to commercial activity. Today also in many societies this type of production is prevailing. In economic sociology, when considering the mode of production, the idea arises in which human labor is converted into energy using various technologies that have existed in human society for a long time. Various technologies involved in the method of production include equipment, skill, knowledge, manpower, etc. Marx believed that the different stages of human society are determined not by what they produce, but by the means and forces of production. Karl Marx classified the economy into three important categories. One is primitive consumerism, second is slavery society, third is feudal society, and in contemporary society the fourth type of economy is known as industrial based, that is capitalism. Domestic or family based production organize work based on family ties and does not necessarily involve formal social domination or control and power over other people. It means the only family members work together. However, power and authority can be exercised over specific groups based on age and gender. It means division of labor is totally based on either age or on the basis of the gender. The mode of production originated from the anthropological works of Erich Wolff, who were inspired by Karl Marx. When we talk about different modes of production, it is clear that the determining factor of different stages of development of society is how they produce as well as the means of production and material goods. There is no single mode of production in any society, but two or more modes of production can exist simultaneously. In some societies slavery is there, but besides slavery feudal society is there. In some part of society feudal type of economy is there. At the same time capitalist society is there, and the mode of production is on the basis of industries. It may be that the mode of production in them is the dominant mode of production which determines the overall economic nature of the society. In domestic mode of production, a method we used for production is known as domestic method of production. One of the key concepts in economic sociology is the domestic mode of production. Various forms of domestic productions are still prevalent in most societies of the world. The underlying assumptions of the domestic method of production is that its origin can be traced back to the evolutionary stages of society. It means slavery to feudal, feudal to capitalist society. The domestic mode of production was one such stage in the evolutionary stage of society characterized by social relations, especially kinship. It means it is also known as the kinship based mode of production. The members of these societies work collectively to convert natural energy into household items using human labor and knowledge through skills and through the use of tools what they have they use for their production. The level of production and amount of the consumption among the members of a family is determined by their needs, and there are always restrictions on production and consumption. There is a system for production and they follow all the norms and patterns of the production. In anthropology, Eric Wolf first presented his ideas regarding the mode of production, which was inspired by Karl Marx. While the origin of the domestic mode of production dates back to the work of Mila Sox, who elaborated on it in his book Maidens, Meals and Money, Capitalism and the Domestic Community. This book was published in 1981. Mila Sox says that in the household mode of production, the primary units of production are the family and the lineage. Lineage means the member of a particular kinship system is known as the lineage. This type of production leads to self-sufficiency, where social relations are determined not through the means of production but through controlling the means of human production. In capitalist society, the relations are mostly based on means of production. One is bourgeois, second is proletariat. According to Marx, the human consciousness is determined through labor action, whereas labor in domestic production system is organized on the basis of kinship relations. Hence, there is no domination or power relations. That's why many people also call the domestic production mode relative based production or kinship based production. This form of production is largely for self sustenance. For example, what a farmer produces, his aim is not to earn money, but his basis is farming to feed himself and his family. In this production system, for example, male members of the family perform difficult roles such as cleaning the field. Other members of the family get involved in sowing the seeds. Children protect crops from being stolen. Man chooses non-cultivated plants to grow and harvest crop plants. Women dry the produce so that it can be stored for future consumption. This is an example of how the process of labor and production is organized by families mainly based on gender and age. This is a system of production known as domestic mode of production. The second component is powers of production. The forces of production refers to the means through which products are obtained from natural resources. Man has brought nature under his control. Therefore, control over nature depends on the availability of human power and skill apart from other types of equipment. As man controlled nature, so did the progress in the forces of production. The less the manpower, the less the control over nature. With the development of these means of production such as machines, labor, skill and technology, man used them to speed up the process of production. In addition, technological progress, changing processes of labor, new energy and working knowledge are also considered as forces of production. There are some scholars who consider geographical places also in the category of forces of production. Any change in these modes of forces of production, there are some scholars who consider geographical places also in the category of forces of production. It means totally man is dependent on nature and according to nature they produce for their own use. Any change in these modes of forces of production will affect the production process. The more developed the productive forces, the more developed the social relations. At a certain point during this development and through this development, the instability in the social relations to control the forces of production led to a conflict between the social relations and the forces of production. It means at one type cooperation is there and on another side conflict is, internal conflict is there. This results in a class struggle between the skilled and unskilled classes, with the skilled and unskilled classes being better suited to the prevailing economic market. Therefore, it is the development of the forces of production that unfold the history of socio-economic relations. The forces of production actually correspond to the forces of society to produce more from natural resources. What they have, that is natural resources, on the basis of the natural resources they produce for their own use, for their own consumptions. And the third component is relations of production. It means the relations between the members of the community. The domestic production system is basically a patriarchal based system, that is male dominating system, which is still visible today. In the household process of production, the whole work is not done by only one person, but the cooperation of other members of the family is also taken. It means cooperation is there among the members of a particular community. In these, the entire work is divided into different parts and assigned to different persons, which is called division of labor. Division of labor can be seen on the basis of age, gender or specialization, in which society what work will be done by the people of which gender and age. It depends on the economic adopted by that society. In a hunting gathering economy, men go to the forest to hunt, while women take care of household, bring up children and collect tubers, fruits, flowers, squares, parks, etc. Due to physical weakness, such works which require more physical strength are not assigned to women. Apart from this, some physiological processes are also the reason for the division of labor on the basis of gender, such as due to not understanding the process of menstruation and childbirth in women, illogical assumptions were born about it. The result was that during the processes of menstrual flow, the childbirth, she was denied to perform religious works. Because of women's attachment to babies, women were assigned the task of taking care of children and cooking at the home. So, they essentially had to stay at home. The basis of division of labor on the basis of gender is also the physical weakness of women. These are the three important components of domestic mode of production. On the basis of all this discussion, we can explain certain characteristics of domestic mode of production. Marshall Sahlin is an American anthropologist who wrote extensively about the domestic mode of production. They argue that this mode of production, characterized by subsistence oriented households and kinship based social relations, it is not primarily focused on wealth accumulation or economic growth. They produce only for self consumption. Sahlin also suggests that the domestic mode of production operates according to a different set of values and principles to those found in market economies. For example, he argues that reciprocity and gift giving rather than individualism or selfishness are important aspects of social relations in this mode of production. In these societies, people produce for them, for their own needs and not for exchange. They are also more likely to invest any surplus back into the household unit rather than hoard it or distribute it among community members. On the basis of this, we can characterize certain characteristics. Emphasis on community life. The feeling of community is the essential part of this domestic mode of production. A key feature of the domestic form of production is the emphasis on community living and shared resources, that is, community spirit is their main feature. In this mode, families often live close to each other and share land, equipment and other productive assets. This allows for more efficient use of resources and reduces the waste that can occur if each household had its own tools or equipments. There is cooperation and coordination among family members, which can be important when undertaking large projects such as building a community center or irrigating field. It also fosters a sense of social cohesion and mutual cooperation, as families are able to rely on each other for assistance in times of need. That is, cooperation is there among the member of the family. However, community living also poses many challenges at times. Conflicts may arise mainly in resource allocation or decision making processes. Some individuals prefer more privacy or autonomy, which can also lead to conflict situation. It means at one time cooperation is there and similarly at other side conflict is there. Second is absence of specialization, the lack of specialization or lack of division of labor. In the domestic mode of production, there is no specialization like ours, nor the specialization found. Everyone there knows a little about all kinds of works. From this point of view, such families can be considered as all-rounders, that is, jack of all and master of none. Their division of labor is not found on the basis of specialization or skill and inefficiency. This can be seen as both a strength and a weakness. On the one hand, it provides a base for the members of the household to develop skills and knowledge which can be useful in a number of ways. Also promotes a sense of responsibility and cooperation among the members of the household. This is a cooperation among the members. On the other hand, on the downside, lack of expertise can lead to inefficiencies and low productivities. The result can be that without individuals with expertise in specific tasks or areas, some projects may take longer to complete or some results to be achieved, because there are some tasks that many require special knowledge or expertise that not all members of the household have. This is the drawback of the lack of specialization or lack of division of labor. Third is limited business. In this system, what is produced is basically for themselves. So, what is left or surplus can be traded with nearby communities, but trading is not a major economic activities. It means lack of trade activities. This means that most goods are produced for local consumption and little emphasis is placed on producing goods for sale in distant market. From this point of view, they act as self-dependent unit. What they produce, they will consume, and what they want to consume, they will produce. It means a self-dependent unit. Thus, they depend on their own resources to meet their needs. Surplus goods may be traded with neighboring communities as a way of exchanging resources or obtaining goods that cannot be produced locally. However, trade is not the main objective in this method of production. There are no large-scale markets or commercial enterprises involved in the exchange of goods. Instead, individuals exchange goods directly with each other without the need of intermediaries. And the fourth important characteristic is diversified production is there, but that is not accordingly or based on the market system. Another characteristics of this type of mode is that it focuses on diversifying production based on domestic needs rather than the domestic form of production based on market demand. In this mode, households only produce essential goods for their own consumption or for exchange with other households rather than producing goods for sale in the market. It means market system is totally absent in this type of economy. Production in these modes allows family to give priority their own needs and preferences rather than being subject to market demands. For example, a household may choose to grow a variety of crops that meet their own nutritional needs and cultural preferences rather than growing those that are most profitable in the market. This can lead to greater food security and self-sufficiency as well as a more diverse diet. Producing individual goods also helps these families reduce their dependence on external market and inputs. Households produce these goods themselves or through exchange with other households, thereby not having to depend on outside sources for items such as food or clothing. This may be particularly important in context where access to markets or imported goods is limited. Diversified production sometimes poses challenges to them as it requires a significant amounts of knowledge and skills in various fields such as agriculture, animal husbandry and handicrafts. Additionally, it can be difficult for household to achieve economies of scale when producing a wide variety of goods for their own use. And the fifth is reciprocity and gift exchange. In this mode of production, households often engage in the exchange of goods and services as a means of creating and maintaining social relations. This will lead to social relations among the members of the community, due to which the social relations between them remain strong. Gift giving is another important aspect of social relations, which within the domestic forms of production. There is special importance of giving gifts on birth, death, marriage and other occasions. Gifts are often given as a way to express gratitude, build relationship or mark important events. They may also be given as a way of establishing or reinforcing a social hierarchy. The principle of reciprocity is seen in the gift, in which it is the responsibility of the recipient of the service items to return almost the same service or item to the giver, as if we give a gift on the birth of our friend's son. Again, it is his responsibility to do the same for us when the time comes. This is known as reciprocity between two or more communities. Reciprocity and gift giving both serve important functions in the domestic mode of production. This will develop trust and cooperation among families, which is essential for successful collective action. They also provide a means of accessing resources that may not be available through other channels such as the market or government programs. Thus, gifting and reciprocity also creates obligations and expectations between the two that must be carefully managed. Individuals may feel pressured to reciprocate gifts or favors in order to maintain social ties, even when they may not have the resources to do so. Additionally, gift giving can sometimes reinforce existing power dynamics within a community. This is based for social relationship in the family members as well as in the community of a particular area. On the basis of all these, we can summarize that the principles and processes for the production of material goods within household groups are referred to as the domestic mode of production. This method is dominant in economies in which most material goods are produced by household groups. Sahelins claimed an independent domestic economy. This is also known as independent domestic economy or kinship based economy, drawing on the ideas of the German economic historian Karl Bucher. He stated that kinship status and close domestic relations of dominance and subordination and cooperation and reciprocity, such as the relationship between husband and wife and between parents and child, there is a basic relationship of production. Although there is no clear-cut division of labor, the basic division of labor is between adult males and adult females on the basis of sex. The dominance of domestic relations of production set limits on the sophistication of equipment and technology. Overall, the domestic mode of production is oriented towards the provision of livelihood. It is intrinsically an anti-surplus system. Which family will produce what? It depends a lot on the geographical conditions, because their total life is dependent on nature. Their resources are also based on the nature. Availability of natural resources and resourcefulness and technology is the predominant characteristics of this type of mode of production. Not only this, the type of economy that the family is adopting, it also has a deep connection with the production. Societies engaged in hunting, fishing, food gathering, animal husbandry and agriculture and industry have varied system of production. Those who collect food items meet their needs by collecting tubers, roots, fruits, flowers and leaves, while those who live by fishing and hunting, production in these societies is largely done by the individuals, family or group. Sometimes gathering of food items or hunting and fishing is done by the whole family and relatives. That is why it can be said that the domestic mode of production is a kinship based production system characterized by labor relations. It is a collective mode of production for survival. Although different modes of production exist in our society, the domestic mode of production no longer determines the normal conditions of social reproduction. It has long been replaced by feudalism, slavery and capitalism, but all these later forms have been based on domestic production and reproduction. After World War II, the domestic community in African post-colonial societies became an adjunct to Western capitalism. European companies exploited the labor of temporary African migrants workers who regularly returned to their native places to contribute to domestic agricultural production during labor intensive periods. In capitalism, there is a general tendency for enterprises to extract surplus from the low paid work of migrants. It also derives income from the domestic community at their place of origin, as this domestic community provides food and care to its members. It means this is a system where the family members work together and produce for their own consumption, not for sale, but in the other type of economy, that is in feudal society or in industrial society, the production system is different to that of the domestic mode of production. Domestic mode of production is also known as the family based production or lineage based production or kinship based production, where all the members of a particular family or a particular lineage or a particular kinship work together for their own consumption.